Have you ever felt like the advice on preventing peanut allergies, well, it just keeps shifting,
Oh, absolutely.
leaving you wondering if there's ever going to be a truly definitive answer?
Yeah, it can be confusing.
Well, today we're diving deep into some truly groundbreaking research, stuff that's completely reshaping how we understand long-term peanut allergy prevention.
That's right.
We've got a fascinating stack of sources here, mainly two really pivotal follow-up studies. They're called LEP-ON and IP-TRIO. And they basically pick up the story from an earlier landmark trial called LAP. So our mission today is to pull out the essential nuggets of knowledge. We want to answer that big question. Does eating peanuts early actually lead to lasting protection, like years later, even into adolescence?
And what's truly remarkable about these studies, I think, is they don't just, echo what we maybe thought we knew.
Right.
They give us an incredibly clear picture of what tolerance really means when we talk about food allergies and, importantly, how incredibly robust it can be.
So this isn't just theory.
No, not at all. We're talking about direct, real-world impact for families who are, grappling with this very common concern every day.
Okay, so to really understand these follow-ups, we need to set the stage. Let's briefly touch on that original LP trial, the one these new studies build on.
Good idea. That's the foundation.
This was a true game changer when it first came out. It showed that for infants who were at high risk for allergies,
Right, the high-risk group.
regularly eating peanuts, starting really early, like between 4 and 11 months old, led to an astonishing 81% lower rate of peanut allergy by the time they were 5 years old. That's compared to kids who strictly avoided peanuts.
An 81% reduction. I mean, that was just monumental at the time, a huge finding.
Exactly. So the original SP trial wrapped up when these kids were about 5. And, immediately the next crucial question was,
What happens next?
right, what happens if they stop eating peanuts? Does that protection they built up just vanish?
Yeah, does it stick?
And that's precisely what the LEP-ON study set out to figure out.
This follow-up, LEA-BON, it specifically investigated whether that dramatically lower rate of peanut allergy would hold up after a full 12-month period where all the participants,
All of them.
yes, all of them, were told to completely avoid peanuts. They did this until the children hit 72 months, so 6 years old.
Okay, and what they found was really compelling, wasn't it?
It really was.
Even after that full year of avoiding peanuts, the allergy rates in the group that had originally consumed peanuts,
The early eaters, yeah.
they remained significantly lower. Only about, 4.8% of those kids had a peanut allergy at 6 years old,
Tiny number.
compared to a stark 18.6% in the group that had avoided peanuts right from infancy.
That's a huge gap still. And the statistics, they confirmed it was, overwhelmingly significant, not just chance.
Absolutely. What's crucial here, I think, is that there wasn't a meaningful increase in allergies for that group that had eaten peanuts early on.
Exactly. Their rate barely budged. It went from about 3.6% at 5 years old to just 4.8% at 6. Statistically, that wasn't a significant jump.
So it really suggested that the unresponsiveness, the tolerance, it was durable, at least for that year of avoidance.
Right. And it wasn't just about whether they reacted or not. Their immune systems backed this up. We saw lower levels of those sort of allergy-triggering antibodies like ARA-H2-specific IgE, and higher levels of what we think of as the protective antibodies called peanut-specific IgG4. It all pointed towards this sustained non-allergic state.
That 12-month check-in, LA-BON, that must have been incredibly reassuring for parents, for researchers.
Definitely. A big sigh of relief, I imagine.
But the ultimate question still lingered, right? What about the really long term? We're talking years down the line, getting into adolescence.
Yes, the teenage years.
And this is exactly what the LAP-TRIO study aimed to discover.
So LA-TRIO, it took that commitment to understanding durability even further. They followed up with these same participants.
The same kids again.
The very same cohort, yeah. To assess their peanut allergy status at approximately 12 years of age. So roughly 144 months. And after LEP-ON finished at age 6, the kids who weren't allergic were simply told, eat peanuts, don't eat peanuts, whatever you want.
Just live your life.
Exactly. What researchers call ad libitum consumption. Basically, total freedom in their diet regarding peanuts.
And the results, all those years later, are just, they're incredibly powerful.
They really are striking.
At 12 years old, that difference was still holding strong. Only about 4.4% of the kids from the original peanut consumption group had a peanut allergy.
Still very low.
Compared to a much higher 15.4% in the group that originally avoided peanuts. That works out to a 71% reduction in prevalence. Still there after all those years.
It's remarkable persistence. And if we drill down a bit, if you look at the participants who really rigorously followed the initial study rules from the very beginning.
The per protocol group.
That's the one, the per protocol analysis. The picture there is even more dramatic. In that very specific group, there was an astonishing 95% relative reduction in peanut allergy for those who consumed peanuts early.
95%.
It just really underscores the profound power of that initial early intervention.
Okay. But what's truly fascinating, I think, is how this tolerance behaves over that longer stretch, like between age 6 and age 12.
Yeah.
Only one participant in that original consumption group actually developed a new peanut allergy. Just one.
Wow.
But here's the surprising twist. 9 participants in the original avoidance group, the ones who were supposed to avoid peanuts, who were actually allergic at 6 years old. They became tolerant by the time they were 12.
They outgrew it.
It seems like it. Some kids apparently can outgrow it, even if they started out allergic, which, that's a huge glimmer of hope.
That is interesting. And it leads to another important question, doesn't it? Does continuing to eat peanuts consistently after age 5 still matter for keeping that protection?
Right. Do you have to keep eating them regularly?
So the study looked closely at peanut consumption patterns during those later years, between 6 and 12, and they found a huge range.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some participants in that original consumption group reported eating very little peanut, or even, completely avoiding peanuts for long stretches during that time.
And despite that variation, despite some kids maybe not eating many peanuts,
exactly,
the protection persisted.
That's the key finding. The researchers found basically no association between those later peanut eating habits and changes in the key allergy biomarkers, like the IgE levels.
So it really suggests that the initial early introduction, that period up to age 5, was the absolutely critical factor.
It seems so, like it established this stable, long-term tolerance that didn't necessarily need constant reinforcement later on.
That's amazing. They even did things like measure peanut protein in bed dust, right? To double check the self-reporting.
They did. It's a clever environmental measure. And that also showed consistency with what people reported eating, which just adds more support, more reliability to the findings.
And the immunology, the blood tests and skin tests, they confirm this idea of true tolerance.
Yes, absolutely. The consumption group consistently, all the way through to age 12, showed smaller reactions on skin prick tests. They had lower levels of those allergy-triggering IgE antibodies, specifically the ERA H2 ones, and higher levels of the protective IgG4 antibodies. Remember, there was maybe a slight concern about IgG4 dipping a bit between age 5 and 6.
Yeah, I remember that from LAP on.
Well, these levels actually remain stable and significantly higher in the consumption group all the way from age 6 to 12.
So no continued drop.
No. It really paints this clear picture of a profound long-term change in the immune system caused by that early exposure, leading to tolerance that's robust and, crucially, durable.
And you mentioned this earlier, but it's worth highlighting again. This seems quite different from some other allergy treatments like oral immunotherapy or OIT.
That's a really key distinction. With many OIT protocols, patients can become desensitized, meaning they can tolerate peanuts while on the treatment.
Right, while taking their daily dose.
Exactly. But often, if they stop that daily consumption, the protection can be lost fairly quickly.
Oh, okay.
Here, with early introduction, as shown in Ellie, we seem to be talking about lasting tolerance. The body's immune system has fundamentally shifted its response. It's almost like it's learned a new, non-allergic default setting for peanuts.
A completely different mechanism, potentially.
Potentially, yes, leading to a much more persistent outcome. So, taking it all together, the collective findings from LEAP, then LEAP On, and now LEAP Trio.
All series.
It provides really undeniable evidence.
Yeah.
Early peanut consumption, starting in infancy and continuing consistently to age 5, provides durable long-term tolerance right into adolescence. And importantly, that holds true regardless of whether they eat lots of peanuts or hardly any later on.
It's just such a clear message. And this research, it hasn't just sat in journals, has it? It's had real impact.
Oh, tremendous impact. It's already directly informed and actually changed infant feeding guidelines in many countries all around the world.
So doctors are advising parents differently now because of this.
Absolutely. It's a powerful real-world example of how this kind of rigorous scientific understanding can directly improve public health and, significantly reduce the burden of peanut allergy for countless families.
What an incredible journey through this science. It's just so clear now that early introduction of peanuts isn't just some temporary fix. It really seems to be a transformative pathway to lasting tolerance.
It really is. And, it makes you consider if such incredibly durable tolerance can be achieved so effectively with peanuts.
Yeah.
What are the broader implications? What about other common food allergies, milk, egg, tree nuts? Could this same kind of proactive approach, this early introduction strategy, revolutionize how we prevent allergies across the board for kids everywhere?
Definitely something to chew on. That is all the time we have for this deep dive.